Shema Israel. I hope you enjoy this next study. My name's Dee. This is my wife, Millie.
So if you like what you see, subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you wish to reach out to us, you can email us at devotedtoyah@gmail.com.
Verse 29. See, Yahuwah has given you the Sabbath. For that reason, he gives you bread for 2 days on the 6th day. Remain everyone in his place. No one is to leave his place on the 7th day. Oh, you see, Brother D? You see, sir? You say you keep the Sabbath. But do you go out of your house on the Sabbath? I hear Christians. I debated Christians that do that to me. Oh, you say you observe the Sabbath, huh? Do you go out of your house on the Sabbath day? Do you go? Yeah, me and my wife, we go to the parks, we go to the beach, we go, see the sunset, sunrise. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Oh, well, you see, brother, you ain't keeping the Sabbath because according to the law of Moses, you ain't supposed to be leaving your house.
Context
is everything. Context is everything. This passage is for a particular specific moment. The law of Moses hasn't even been given yet. The 10 Commandments haven't even been given yet. Okay? This is a specific event. And these Israelites are so stubborn. They're so stubborn. Number one, they're complaining. After they complain, they're given simple instructions. Gather what you need, eat it, and don't leave it till the next morning. But some people thinking they can save it and preserve it and carry it on because maybe tomorrow this stuff ain't gonna happen again. Maybe Moses might mess up. Maybe he tripping. Maybe this was only for a little while. So let's save it just in case tomorrow ain't nothing. And then this stuff just rots. And Moses is like, "Why are you not listening?" Okay, that's fine. Let that go. Let that slide. But now the 7th day, we're gonna start remembering the Sabbath day of rest. We're gonna start digging into our roots, the creation, where Yahuwah created the heavens and the earth in 6 days and rested on the 7th. So he gives them instructions not to gather on the 7th day. And what happens? You got some stubborn folk that just want to do their own thing, and they do it anyway. Anyway, go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, so context is everything, right? Because who you're dealing with. When we look through scriptures, we see that on Shabbat, the Messiah went to the temple, right? Just going to throw random examples out there. Or even the apostles, I think it was Paul, went by the riverside on a Sabbath where there were sisters praying. So we're able to go outside. It was a matter of what was their heart and why did they go outside. They went to break the command of Yahuwah to go gather manna, which is what they weren't supposed to do. So here you have leadership coming in. Moshe is like, you know what? You guys are just so stiff-necked. Like even Yahuwah is saying, how long will you not obey my commands? And because in the command, he never said that you couldn't go outside. He said, don't gather. And so there was the intention. So when verse 29 in Exodus comes in, there's a show of leadership and how one being a leader can add instructions, and it's based on the type of people that are around. If there are stiff-necked people within a congregation, then there needs to be more constraints and restraints around them. It's just the way it goes. Now, some people may say, oh, well, you just said that you can add instructions, but the word says do not add nor take away. When the word's talking about being, and I like the way you said it earlier when we were studying, when the word's talking about not adding or taking away, it's talking about do not add to the commandments, whether it's the 10 commandments or the law of Moses, and place that in a place where it is set above the commands of Yahuwah, the way the Pharisees were. So they will bring in their traditions of men, and then they would set it above Yahuwah's commands, and that's what they were obeying and telling the people to obey, rather than observing the actual commands of Yahuwah. Versus, you are to obey the command of Yahuwah, which Moses says, do not gather on the 7th day. And now I see that you guys are so stiff-necked. I'm going to have to add to that. I'm keeping this command here. You cannot gather. But you guys clearly need more restraints because you're just not getting it. stay inside your house. And so, it'll be the same way depending upon who we're talking to, that they need a bit more covering, or they need a bit more guards around them. So then we would add and say, okay, well, brother and sister, you're dealing with this. The command says, uh, let me think of an example. Okay, let's think about this. Both my husband and I think about sexual morality. We're gonna take that as an example. All right, so over here, thinking about an example. So, for example, when it comes to sexual morality, right? You can't fornicate and all this stuff. For some people, to hug a brother or sister um, is too much for them. It jolts too much within their body. So for some, we might say, you know what, for you and for the congregation, such and such is only going to give handshakes to the opposite sex. Whereas other brothers and sisters, you can give a hug because there's nothing in your heart that's impure. We're setting up a guard or a fence, additional instruction and additional command for that one brother or sister for the sake of their heart, or if they're if they need more restraints because they're just too stiff necked, versus for the others we wouldn't do that. But the Torah in and of itself, the Torah of Yahuwah, doesn't say you cannot give a handshake or you cannot give a hug and stuff like that. So there is room for leaders to be able to say, let me look at my congregation, the sheep that Yahuwah has given us, or given me. How is this fold working right now? What are the issues that's going on with this congregation? What are the ways in which they're stiff-necked? And I'm gonna show you the word of Yahuwah. I'm gonna give you the grounds. I'm gonna give you the basics, the foundation. And from here, we're gonna say, you know what, we need more restraints here. So there's a difference between that. And when it comes to, I know for us within this walk, we hate the word, so many of us hate the word traditions and traditions of men, because we see Messiah combating it so much so. But what he was combating wasn't just traditions of men isolated. It was traditions and doctrines of men, again, placed above the command, put on a pedestal above the commands of Yahuwah. And I don't know if you want to talk more specifically as an actual leader.
Well, I guess in relation to how Moses is, he's being, how do you say it? A little versatile, I guess, in his commands and instructions. He's trying to flow with what the culture, what the environment is like, and he's trying to create parameters based upon what this group of people struggle with. In our day and age, our culture struggles with sexual immorality. We live in a very sexualized culture. So it's not far-fetched or wrong if a particular assembly has a rule, such as we, that you shouldn't be hanging out alone with the opposite sex. That's just some inside house rule that we believe is safe. It keeps you out of trouble. You know, if you want to hang out, you have interest in a particular sister, you have interest in a particular brother, that's all good, but stay accountable. You want to hang out with that particular person, have somebody else hanging out with y'all. Have somebody, supervising and making sure y'all ain't hanging out alone. You're not driving them home by yourself. They not driving you home. Y'all not hanging out in the park late at night. Okay, I've heard all kinds of stories. When I was in a early relationship, which we shouldn't even been in, we were courting, but the courting became the boyfriend girlfriend thing, which we don't agree with anymore. But like, yeah, like hanging out stuff alone was bad. It was bad, and I was the kind of guy where I was a place in my life where I was afraid to hold her hand. I was afraid to put my hand around her waist. I told her, I was like, I can't do it. I can't put my hand around your waist. I could barely hold your hand, you know? But the more we were hanging out alone, I blurred that line. Okay. And so I just, there are guys who are worse than me. I remember I used to talk to young men, guys around my age, and they're like, man, you're better than me. Shoot, I'll do stuff everywhere, anywhere, and I'm like, wow, man. Like, so because that reality is out there, I think it's the best. I think it's a very wise rule, so don't touch the stove. Kid wants to touch the stove. Okay, fine. Don't go in the kitchen. Matter of fact, we putting the gate in the kitchen. You're not even stepping in the kitchen no more. You know, like I don't think there's anything wrong with that.